This man cannot remain in power.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about India and as well as Pakistan. Especially India, because there's a hilarious video out on the internet. Jaishankar, the foreign ministry of India, and he absolutely embarrassed Liz Truss, and I just couldn't stop laughing. I'm gonna have to share that clip with you. Basically completely embarrassed her. And Liz Truss, obviously anyone can embarrass her. She really doesn't know the difference between her head and her toes. She really is an embarrassment to the British government, and the whole British government are a bunch of fools. You got Boris at the top, then you got Rishi Sunak, then you got Liz Truss, you got Priti Patel. Oh my god, this must be the worst administration ever in the British government. Anyway, without further going into it, I'm going to show you a clip of what Jaishankar said to Liz Truss, and I'll continue from there.
On behalf of the United Kingdom, to take all the action we can to support the people of Ukraine, but that is not the same as going around telling other countries what to do.
Final question.
May I just add a word there?
Of course.
You know, it's interesting because we've seen for some time what looks almost like a campaign on this issue. Now, I was just reading a report today that in the month of March, Europe has bought, I think, 15% more oil and gas from Russia than it did the month before. If you look at the major buyers of oil and gas from Russia, I think you'd find most of them are in Europe. We ourselves get the bulk of our energy supplies from the Middle East, about 7.5%, 8% of our oil from the US. In the past, maybe less than 1% from Russia. When oil prices go up, I think it's natural for countries to go out into the market and look for what are good deals for their people. But I am pretty sure if we wait 2 or 3 months and actually look at who are the big buyers of Russian gas and oil, I suspect the list won't be very different from what it used to be, and I suspect we won't be in the top 10 on that list.
Well done, Jaishankar, and that really embarrassed Liz Truss, and not only Liz Truss but the British government for sending her over there, and the Western countries have also been looking at what's been happening, looking at India's reaction. The fact that India had actually given a red carpet to Lavrov, they let Lavrov meet President Modi. They didn't even give that kind of luxury to Liz Truss. It just shows how Indians' foreign policy has been shifting away from the West. So a couple of years ago, Indians' foreign policy had been moving towards the West. For them, they had joined the Quad, for example, and they had been, working with the United States on many areas, including the Quad. And United States thought they hit the jackpot. They got a country with 1.4 billion people, a country that can counter China, and that was perfect match for the United States. They thought, yes, we got India, perfect country to counter China. Unfortunately, it's not working out that way. United States thought there would be another puppet government for the United States. They will pretty much do whatever they want. And a few years ago, I think India would have done that. I believe when there was sanctions on Iran, for example, United States threatened sanctions on India if they carried on buying Iranian oil. And India basically stopped because they didn't want sanctions from America. So a few years ago, I don't think India would have had the guts to stand up to the West or stand up to America. But things are changing now. India's GDP has been growing. They're showing a lot more potential. Their industry is getting better and better, and they are making more money. They're a lot more self-sufficient. So India is getting a lot more independent. is looking to go its own way. Plus, India hasn't forgotten the times of the colonial times as well. They pretty much had enough of the British coming into India, telling them what to do, who to buy oil from, etc. And again, like he made many good points. It's the West that have caused this conflict in Ukraine, and even though the West are forcing or telling India what to do, where to buy their oil from, the West is still buying gas and oil from Russia. Countries all over Europe, they're still dependent on Russia for their gas and for their oil. Even America's been buying fertilizer from Russia, neon, for example. And even though European countries are asking India to stop trade with Russia, they are trading themselves with Russia. So it's just hypocrisy, really, and double standards. And India is a country who doesn't really produce its own oil. I mean, they got a few oil fields, but it's nowhere enough to support the 1.4 billion people they have in India. So it's nowhere enough. And India needs to import oil, and India is still a developing country. So when oil prices rise, India's lives get worse. Their industry can't grow. They can't, feed their people. They can't heat their people as well. So there is a huge issue with oil prices rising, and India gets affected, and it's one of the first countries that gets affected. So here you have the West telling India to stop buying Russian oil, stop buying Russian gas, stop trading with Russia, stop buying military equipment from Russia. They don't understand the history between India and Russia. Like I said in my previous video, Russia came to India's aid when India had a war with Pakistan. And this was regarding the independence of Bangladesh in 1971. And India sent out an SOS to the whole world, because at the time Pakistan was allied with the West. So America had sent some warships in the Indian coast, and a lot of Western countries, including Britain, had supported that. And India sent an SOS, and Russia was the only country, or actually at the time it was Soviet Union, and Soviet Union was the only country that actually came to the aid of India. And they sent some nuclear submarines to the Indian coast, and because of that, America had actually backed off. And because of that incident, India had won the war with Pakistan, and Bangladesh was liberated. So their friendship goes, beyond what the West can understand. There is no way that India would backstab Russia, no matter what. They know the West cannot be trusted, and there is no way the West can persuade India not to trade with Russia. That's not going to happen. And India is starting to rise up now, starting to talk back. And then you have this article as well. You got this guy, Dalip Singh, Joe Biden's economic advisor, who threatened India for importing discounted Russian oil. So this guy is Indian himself. Dalip Singh is obviously an Indian name, and he's basically threatening India with sanctions for buying the Russian oil. And it just beggars belief. I mean, what India has bought from Russia is a very small percentage of what the Europeans are buying from Russia in terms of gas and oil. I mean, all of those sanctions that they've placed on Russia, most of the sanctions are lifted for gas and oil, so they can still trade in gas and oil, except they want other countries, developing countries like India, to completely stop trading. So again, it just beggars belief, and I'm glad that India is actually standing up to this kind of hypocrisy, and I'm actually quite pleased what Jaishankar said to Liz Truss. Completely embarrassed her, and she pretty much deserved it. And she's literally the worst foreign minister we've ever had. We've actually got the worst prime minister. We've got the worst chancellor. We got that Priti Patel as well. She's an absolute joke as well. They're a complete embarrassment, and I think Jaishankar has pretty much put them on their spot where they deserve to be. And yeah, good on him, and good on India as well. Which brings me on to Pakistan now. I'm not an expert on Pakistani politics, so I'll try and tell you as much as I know. All I know is the Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan has recently had a vote of no confidence, and currently the latest is there is a caretaker Prime Minister which has been appointed, and I believe it's gone to the courts, and Pakistani Prime Minister has said he wants a brand new election, and also in the meantime you can see he's still in office at the moment until a caretaker premier is appointed. So there's a lot of stuff that's been going on in the Pakistani parliament and government, and even to this day they've not had a single prime minister who has lasted the full term. There's always politics, a lot of infighting going on. My view is I think he's a pretty damn good prime minister. Those of you who don't know Imran Khan, he's a very famous cricketer. He's one of the best cricketers in the world, or used to be one of the best in the world, and he was very much living in UK. He used to be married to Jemima Khan, and now he's got into politics and become the Prime Minister of Pakistan. I think he's been doing a good job, to be honest. He is not a puppet of the West, and he himself has said that the West is basically doing all of this. They are basically pushing some sort of campaign against him to push him out of power. This is mainly because of his support of China. He's a very, very strong supporter of China and Chinese policies. He's allowed China a lot of Chinese investments in Pakistan, especially in Gwadar port, and there is also a BRI project going on in Pakistan which will link Pakistan completely to China, road and rail links. It's called the Comprehensive Pakistani Corridor. So there's a lot of work going on in Pakistan. There's also a lot of long-term work going on in terms of they're thinking of linking Iran with Pakistan, so there'll be oil going from Iran into Pakistan and into China, and also they're looking to link Afghanistan to Pakistan as well, build road and rail links. So Pakistan is very, very important to China for the local area between Iran and Afghanistan and Central Asia especially. So if Pakistan is, or if he is taken out of power and basically gets replaced by a puppet of the United States or the West, then all of these projects will be cancelled or put on hold, or it could be disastrous for China. And this is one of the things that America's been trying to do. Obviously with Russia, they want Russia to be weaker, so a weak Russia is not going to help China much in the future. So this is why they're having this proxy war against Russia. They want to try and destroy as much Russian artillery as possible, Russian military as possible, and they want Russia to be bogged down in Ukraine and obviously lose money the longer they are there. They are thinking of making it into another Afghanistan, when Russia was in Afghanistan more than 20-30 years ago. So they are bogging down Russia, and the next target is Pakistan. And obviously Pakistan is a very, very major friend of China. So they're targeting all of these countries one by one. They tried to target the Kazakhstan Prime Minister not long ago, tried to do a color revolution, and that failed. And basically America is trying to destabilize China and destabilize the countries who are friendly towards China. So the organization is called the NED, National Endowment for Democracy, and they have been pushing for Xinjiang to be independent. They have been pushing for the separatists to have their own country. So this is why a lot of Uyghurs have been targeted. And then you have Pakistan. They're trying to destabilize. They're obviously trying to destabilize Russia, Kazakhstan. This is what the NED does, and they are successful most of the time. So I think it'll be a huge disaster if Imran Khan leaves, because I think the Pakistani people will suffer a lot. He has been helping the country become stable. He has been getting a lot of investment from China, for example, helping the country build its infrastructure with China's help. And if he goes, I believe a lot of these infrastructure stuff will go or stop, and money will stop coming in from China. And the West is not going to help Pakistan. West is not going to help Pakistan at all. They are just there to be used as a pawn against China. And I just hope the people of Pakistan don't fall for it. I hope they can see what's happening in Ukraine, and hope they are intelligent enough to know that the West cannot be trusted. So I hope people in Pakistan make the right decision. I hope this man stays. I believe he's doing a good job. So let's see how things go. And Imran Khan has also been said some nice words about India as well. He's basically said, he really respects India's stance against the West, the fact that India is standing up to the West. He said he really respects that. So it's good words, because obviously India and Pakistan, they have huge rivalries. They haven't been getting along. And Imran Khan to be saying these words is a good thing. It means that he's reaching out with an olive branch and he wants peace in the area. So things could become better if he stays. So that's all I know for now, guys. You guys might know more than me in terms of what's happening in Pakistan and whether you want Imran Khan to stay or go. If you know much about Pakistani politics, let me know, or come in the comment section. We'll have a discussion. I don't mind that at all. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now.